I gonna make sense for you this week?
Eddie Flemke was in the 2X, and I was driving that black 7, and I remember sitting there, and we were out of the cars, and we're sitting on the ground, and my car wasn't turning good in the corner, so I know I needed a little more stagger. So, you know, you weren't really supposed to work on your race car, but I was just going to let a little air out that left rear tire with a little stone, so I was letting the air out that tire, and I look up, and Eddie Flemke's in the 2X. They got a big block in that thing. He's pulling a plug wire off. And I'm not mistaken, he really ran good in that race. But you know, back in that day, power was not what won you a race at New London. It was handling and not having a lot of power. And I'll never forget that. Eddie pulled the plug wire off. I said, man, look at that. I said, how the hell do you ever think of that, you know? and I think he ran really good, and I finished in there, but I don't remember exactly where. But I remember that night. I remember sitting on the tire and letting the air out, and everybody was listening. You could hear it, of course. Just a racing day.
It was always Fuzzy and his father, nobody else. Once in a while his brother-in-law, but mainly just Fuzzy and his father. He and his father were gold. And like I said, we were parked nearby, and they'd unload the coach and leave the ramps on the truck, and Pop would sit there having his Temporella cigar, and you know, they didn't believe in adjusting the car, however it was, and that's what they did. So I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Romano. They ran Riverside Park, and he had a Vega number in '93. And they come down, and he had probably 10 or 12 crew members, and all in fancy uniforms, and they're parked next to Fuzzy, you know. So they introduce himself, and Fuzzy introduces himself back to him, and he's looking around. He says, "Where's your crew?" And he says, "Right there, my father." He says, "Well, what do you do if there's a fight?" He says, "He'll sit and watch." They didn't know. I remember the look on his face. He couldn't, you know, it's like.
So last week was a total show for us between just getting spun out.
Oh, we've got a problem. We've got cars spinning in the mid-pack of cars, and it is the 82 machine of Mike Christopher Jr. It was one of the cars involved.
And then we were under caution at some point, and my spotter Waddell said that we were doubling them up.
Oh, we're gonna cross them up here, Mike.
And at that point, you're, you know, going left and right to lock up the front tires and, you know, clean them up as best you can. And I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I know I wasn't paying attention. All of a sudden I look up in front of me and everyone has stopped on the front stretch.
And I look in my mirror, and as soon as I look in my mirror as I'm stopping, I'm like, well, this isn't gonna go well.
And I just destroyed my front bumper on Reen's rear of his car, and it stalled my car, and I'm stalled on the front stretch just with a killed front bumper.
All I'm thinking is, I'm like, the front of his car has to be destroyed.
Christopher Jr. on the pit lane once again. The front Nerf bar has seen better days, and this is probably going to be the last time it is used in competition. It is beat up.
I'm just lucky it didn't get the radiator, because my old man would be snapping about that.
The next year, we were at the Speedbowl. I had both cars. I built another modified, and Billy Harmon drove it. Charlie Webster drove the 65. And then I couldn't believe it. One night, we were at the Speedbowl, and there's two guys come up to me, and it says, "You interested in selling your race cars?" And I said, "Not really, why?" He said, "Well, we brought our tow trucks down. We're from Islip, New York, and we watch your cars run." And he says, "I want to buy them." And he says, "How much you got in them cars?" And I told him. And he reaches in his pocket and pulls out all that money and says, "I'll give you that cash for them right now." And I stood there, I was dumbfounded. I really didn't know what to do. So I took the money, they loaded the cars. I come home with the trailers empty. And
Did
so,
you have a plan at that time?
No plan at all. I was planning on still running the cars, but he made me an offer. Really, I couldn't refuse. So 3 days later, I called Johnny Whitehouse up. I said, Johnny, I won't be racing anymore with my car. Well, what's the matter? I told him what happened. He says, oh, well, he says, why don't you come to work for me then, be an inspector? Him and I worked together and we got along good. He says, Thompson called me up, he says, and offered me to be the race director at Thompson. He says, I'd like you to come with me. I said, really? So that's how I went to Thompson. Johnny Whitehouse was a race director. I left the Speedway and went there with him in '71, and I've been there ever since.
I'm sure you all know we're waiting on Burt Myers to come down. He's going to run an SK here. Hopefully he's on his way, if not soon to be on his way.
Have fun, babe.
We want to look at the track first. What are these, 30 pounds? Hey, these 30s and 45? You know, this is right up my alley with a little short track, and it seems like there's 2 grooves you can run in or out, and I'm looking forward to the feature. I hate the 91 got pulled up. Somebody slammed my left foot, ran over the side of it, and knocked me right in the side of it.
So it looked from up there like you just got a good corner pop.
Yeah, somebody hit my front tire so hard. I think it was the guy in front of the 91. Yeah. Or, you know, and he hit my, I don't even remember which side he hit it from. But, I mean, I'll be honest with you, in my mind, trying to hit the 91 all the way back. Having the best outing of his mini stock career.
Jess, his family all sits down here too, you know. Actually, I'll film them. Running!
They riptide their way into
Ray losing it! Oh, he saved it! Wow! Running!
As he goes to turn number 4, your leader continues to be Jeff Lee. Boy, Lee was now he beats everybody into the second.
He is wheeling, dude.
Ray Christian by about a Pinocchio's nose. But here comes Lee fighting back as they whiplash their way into the corner.
Ray got him. Wow.
Masterful job there by Ray Christian III to get the lead away.
All right, stay solid. Get a good finish. Stay solid.
The Trudeau number 97 car. As they go to turn number 3, Trudeau will take the inside route. He's going to try to get back down.
Oh, man. See, now, here's what's intriguing. The family last week, they were all very excited. But they learned, like many of us have over the years, that the last lap's the only lap that matters. So now, you know, they're excited. They're not nearly as excited as they were last week because they know there's a long way to go before the race is over. He's gonna win, dude. He's gonna get it. They're about to go nuts. Got it.
Hey, I gotta get pushed. You get pushed all right. Woo! I just cooked the motor. It's cooked? Yeah, I just overheated it. All righty. Hey, push them off. Jamie, help push them off. Hey, there'll be no victory lap for this 54. He just blew it up.
I'm going to say it was around mid-'80s. I can't remember the exact year. Teddy was just starting out. I came across his pit area and he was asking me for help. And I said, well, okay. Gave him a little advice and he was struggling and he was learning the cars. He was a go-kart racer and he was new to the big cars. So I said, you know what, Teddy, instead of messing around like that, why don't you bring the car down to my shop? And he didn't know anything about stagger or crossweight setups or anything like that. So I scaled the car and worked with him a little bit. And, you know, it wasn't much time passed after that. And he won his first race. And the rest, as they say, is history. I took a little break from racing. So I was deciding I was going to come back and run SKs at Stafford. Teddy saw me in the pit area. He says, what are you doing? You thinking about getting back into racing? I go, it's just kind of kicking around. Maybe I'll do something. He goes, before you do anything, he says, come down to my shop and see me. And he's got like 7 cars all lined up there. And he says, hey, what do you think about that car right there? And he pointed to his 2007 championship car. I said, that's a beautiful car. I said, nice. He says, you know what? He says, you helped me out early in my career. He says, why don't you take that car right there and take it home and go racing next year? That's the kind of Teddy Christopher that people don't know a lot about. He was a great guy.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking to take the green in the feature and then put Doug Kobe in the car, and hopefully he can get the 88 to victory lane tonight. You know, he's definitely a top choice of picks that I had to pick from, but hopefully just the caution comes out in the first 5 laps. We got to give Doug Kobe plenty of time to get to the front.
One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get in Keith's car was just to see how fast it is. I mean, I've seen it enough times, and I've raced against it enough times that I just wanted to see what I was up against when I'm racing against him. So it's a great opportunity for me to see what one of the best competitors out there has for equipment, and the car was really good in practice. I'm pretty excited for tonight.
Come on, baby. Come on, Richie. Settle in there, brother. Nice. Oh, Nelly. Ah. Wow, did that caution come any quicker? Jeez. Is
that the caution you're telling me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch through right now?
There he goes.
Take your time. Seatbelt, you got plenty of time. Unplug my helmet. Unplug his helmet. Oh, seatbelts are off. Good time. All right, got everything unplugged? No, hold on. Got plenty of time. It balls it up. Got plenty of time. We didn't have to plan it.
Tyler's hooked up to this guy over here, looks like. You got this, Jess?
Hey, hold your brakes. Go. Hey, you gotta let that clutch out quick. Bang. All right, you're stuck in the bumper. Go back. Come on, bang it. You got a bar? Got a bar? Plenty of time, though. Plenty of time. They got cars wrecked, though. He got it. Wheel. You're good. Wheel? Wheel. Put the gloves on as you're going straight after.
That means we have a driver's change.
Wow, look at Kobe moving. Oh! Come on, get
The man who picks up 55 points is Keith Rocco, and the man who delivered the goods for him, Doug Kobe. From last to first.
Was expected to put on a show, and this 88 machine is awesome. I knew it in practice. It was really stout, and I actually broke the clutch in the car on that last restart, so if we had a caution, I would have had to pull in. We were done. I couldn't do anything with it.
Rocco's car after the heat race crash. Already dismantled. That's impressive. What?
Keith coming through the field.
Not in that car? That's all over my head. I don't know what that means.
Basically, he's in fourth gear. He wants to be in third.
Oh, so yeah, so he needs it to keep going. Wow, yeah. That's impressive, man.
Okay, let's see. Phil Rondo is across the scales over on the backstretch. Larry Goss celebrates. So over in turn number 2 in fine style. All the numbers being tabulated up here trackside. And now, who wins the championship?
And by this time, I've got people yelling in my ear. You know, the tower's getting very excited.
There was some talking here and there about where everybody finished and this and that. And I ended up going up into the grandstands and wanted to see the tape. And Billy Roberts said, "Yep, no problem. I'll hang on a minute. I'll go check it out."
So we had the guy videotaping at that time, and it was not an official videotape by any means. That's not what the purpose was.
We weren't officially using the video to officiate racing, and I was torn about that. I didn't know whether that was something we should or shouldn't do, but Billy thought it was worth doing, and I let him run with the ball.
So I rewound the tape, and as they come across, I really couldn't see it, so I rewound the tape again, hit play, which I thought was play, and I hit the record button, and it obliterated the tape.
Down to the stride, the white flag is in the air this time by. The white flag will surrender to the checker for the final time off of turn number 2 and down the back stretch. The late model division, October 20.
I had a nice view of the desk in front of me up in the tower.
I think he just honestly, in his non-technology fashion, erased the tape. Not on purpose. Like he was trying to do the right thing and up in smoke.
Yeah.